yes, everybody's healthy. Yep. So he probably had a problem when he came here, not to this level, but when he started playing at this level, it got worse. It's probably a tear in the labrum and down below. So I don't know how serious the surgery is because they won't know until they go in there, but it is a 6 to 8 months rehabilitation. A lot of times it's defensive related, but there's no reason why he didn't play or Zaya didn't play or this guy didn't play.
What do you just think of his progression? It seems like he's making progress, maybe not as fast as you guys want, but
I think he's the same player at North Carolina. He was taken out of his starting lineup the last 7 games for a reason. There must have been a reason for that. Probably, I would guess it was defensive related, or his assist turnovers weren't very good. Like DJ, we have worked diligently to improve his assists, turnovers, rebounding, and him and Josan have improved immensely. So we're very happy with the improvement of him as well as Josan.
last year, I know it's different, they're young, older. We didn't really see Kadari until mid-January last year. Can Ian make that?
Ian's a sophomore. Kadari was a man.
No, right, I understand that, but the
I think if you want my opinion, an honest opinion, I think you need to get off of Ian and don't treat him any different than Josan or anybody else. I think it's very difficult for a New Yorker to play in New York. Very difficult, because if he was in North Carolina right now, you would not be asking these questions. But because he's a New Yorker, and I've seen many New Yorkers on the Jets, the Giants, the Mets, and the Yankees ruined because of being over-scrutinized. So I'm not going to allow you to do that with Ian, or anybody else for that matter from New York. Ian Jackson has improved immensely since he's been here. Now that you mentioned him, he's starting for the Iona game because of the improvement he has made. But it takes time. If you look at his assist turnovers at North Carolina, and probably his defense was one of the reasons why I'm sure he was taken out of the lineup. It takes time, because Danish Jenkins, if you want to take the analogy there, not Kadari, at the same time, Danish Jenkins was behind Ian because he had very, very little point guard skills.
in terms of his first year.
His development into a,
But I'm saying, when you say he's behind the Danes, like his first year with you at Iona.
yes, well, that was really his 3rd year. He spent a year at Pacific, a year in junior college, and then here. And it took a good 3 or 4 months from the summer on before he learned really how to play the game the right way. And it's taken Ian 3 or 4 months now to get to this point right now, where defense matters, where he was averaging 5 or 6 turnovers every practice, which is unheard of. And now he's 1 or 2 max. So he's come a long way.
Is that a fair comparison, Jenkins and
I just think people,
Because Jenkins became like a linchpin.
yes, but I don't know if he's ever going to be that way, because Danis was a very cerebral thinking person. Ian's has a scoring mentality. DJ had a mentality of making other people better. But I will say Ian's turnovers have come way down, his rebounds have gone way up, and his defense has gotten significantly better, the same as Josan. I just think being a New Yorker, you get over-scrutinized, and it takes time to develop into a complete basketball player. When this season's over, he will be a complete basketball player, ready to move on to whatever pastures he wants to get to.
Do you believe that the scrutiny is bothering?
No, not at all. I think he handles it. I'm always a firm believer in guys should go away to school because of that. Anytime you're from a major city with his type of reputation, they should go away. It's less distraction from family, friends, and outside influences. Now, the Chris Mullins of the world and the Mark Jacksons of the world and Ian Jacksons, they can handle it. They can handle it. But it can get under your skin. Now, he's a great guy, but he knows he had a lot of development that he had to master to get to this point today. And I believe he's about 80% of the way there.
Fitting into that, how much
Well, we lost to Michigan in overtime. We lost to Iowa State by a point, and I would definitely include Iowa State and UConn in with those teams you just mentioned. The- Michigan has something that their size is incredible. Their point guard is really, Cadeau has really improved to a level. They have a great power forward, great bench. But are they beatable? Yes. Now, it doesn't look like they are, but they are. Now, we didn't turn it over much, and we shot up 40 free throws against them, so we got to the line. And I think you have to get to the line and get them in foul trouble. But there are 6, 7 teams that are playing great basketball right now, but then there are teams, and I would put us in the category, that have a lot of growth ahead of them, a lot of growing to do, and maybe we can get to that point.
I mean, you played them so close, how much does that give you optimism given what they've done here in the last few weeks this year?
You know, I think playing Iowa State, the way we played Iowa State, same thing. I think we can hang with anybody, but can we beat anybody? And that's the next step you have to make.
Rick, talk about the growth. Since you guys got back to Vegas, it's only 2 games in 17 days or whatever. Is that the growth you're talking about over this
So,
period?
you know, sometimes you comment after a game, and then you go watch the film, and you say, boy, my comments really were not on the mark. But we played great against Ole Miss, and I didn't think so at all. We played great at the defensive end. That was like last year in February, that defense being played that night. Offensively, I'd say we did not play well, but I really thought that was because Ole Miss played great defense as well. That was 2 teams playing great defense that night. But that was by far our best performance of the season defensively. And I think offensively we struggled because of Ole Miss.
Do you think you played so well defensively against Ole Miss because you had the week?
I thought we had time to prepare. We're getting better. You know, and I don't want to just say Ian and Josan, but there's been about 5 or 6 guys that were very weak defensive players, and now they've become very good defensive players. And there's about 5 of them. It's not just those 2. Those 2 have improved the most.
What went into playing Iona? Obviously, they brought you back.
Well, the president called me and asked me if he could get into the Garden. It's been a while since they played in the Garden. And I have tremendous affection for Iona, obviously, for a lot of reasons. The president and AD flew to Madrid, Spain, to see me coach against Real Madrid. We met in an Irish pub at midnight with my son, my niece, and my nephew at an Irish pub to talk about going to Iona. And we stayed from like 12 to 1 o'clock. And then they went back and offered me the job. And I had literally 48 hours to get out of Greece and get to London, or I would never be able to get back because of COVID. It hit that quick. So I have deep affection for Iona. And I said, love to play you. I'm hoping that the crowd is amazing so we can make it like a holiday game every year. We're hoping to get 15, 16,000 fans. We were hoping to sell out, but we're not going to get to that point. That's probably, that game probably is one of a kind. I don't imagine anybody else doing that. I would be in favor of doing that. The problem we have, Roger, is the Garden. It's very tough to get dates in the Garden. Very tough. Now, we love it. They're great to us, but it's so difficult to get a date from them. And then you got to match the date they have. They're booked almost 5 out of 7 nights a week with entertainment. The other night they had an exhibition tennis match. So something's going on there 5 out of 7 nights a week. You have the Rangers, the Knicks. So for us to get a game in mid-February is so difficult. That matches up with the team we would possibly play. So yes, would I be in favor of it? Yes, but it'd be very difficult to do because of the Garden.
What if it was 9? What if it was
A neutral site? So-
United.
Yeah, I would be in favor of something like that. I think it's certainly good. But if you're in a tough league, I don't think it helps or hurts you if you're in a tough league.
Yeah, I mean, I was just asking because so many good opportunities have been here already, but like, it seems like St. John's best basketball is kind of in the yet to come sort of.
Yep. And, you know, next year's going to be the same thing because you're going to have 8 new players again.
Who's staying?
Well, you got Casper, you've got Ruben, you've got Sadiku, you've got Dylan Darling. Who am I missing? Yeah, which, you got the young man we signed.
Alvin
I'm sorry?
Alvin
Yes, and then you got the freshman, high school senior that is with us.
Do we think Jackson or Santa?
They want to go pro. I think that's their goal, to go pro. Certainly, if they didn't go pro, we'd love to have them back, but their mindset is to try the NBA.
Rick, you thought about playing Calvin at all?
Yes, he deserves to play, but we got so many guys ahead of him that it's difficult. I brought him in the other day and explained it to him. I said, look, you got a great future at St. John's. I wish I could play you more, but he's behind. Right now, if you looked at our basketball team, they all don't think they're getting enough minutes. Bryce doesn't think he's getting enough. Dylan doesn't think he's getting enough. Certainly Ruben doesn't think he's getting enough. I'm sure Ian doesn't think he's getting enough. So Sadiku doesn't think he's getting enough. So that's true of the whole team. So it's difficult to get him the minutes. I'm hoping in the next few games I can get him some minutes.
Rick, you mentioned after Ole Miss that you thought the guys were nervous going into that game. I mean, they only beat Baylor, but the fact that they beat an SEC team at home, they got one under their belt. Do you think those nerves are gone?
Yeah, I think they're going to reach it. I think last year was the same thing. I think they're going to reach a point. We've got to make more threes. You know, we're playing against an Iona team that could come in here and take 35 or 40 threes and make 14 or 15. So they are a really good offensive team with a terrific point guard, some great wing players. They're an explosive offensive basketball team. They could beat anybody on any given night if they're on from the three-point line. So we've got to shoot it better. We've got to defend it better.
I know you love Dayton, and you're the president of the Dayton fan club.
It's not just Dayton.
What do you think about Notre Dame as a fit in the Big East, and the football team could stay independent, as Kevin pointed out?
I think Notre Dame is, if they were to do something, they'd be more likely to join the ACC in football than they would. We would love to have them back with basketball. I say, see, I'm a proactive person. I'm always thinking ahead. In my thing, I'm thinking, if UConn's going to keep football, they're going to keep trying to make a move to another conference. Well, they are the engine that drives this league. So you better have 3 or 4 teams to make up for that one UConn, in my estimation. And I always think ahead. And I think expansion's good. Remember, the presidents look at it as, well, we don't want to cut the pie. Times are tough in Catholic schools economically. Well, I'm more of the Amazon thinking, that Amazon lost money for the first 20 years, that in order to make money, you have to invest. So the presidents don't agree with me in this league.
So Notre Dame, you don't,
I mean, I'd love to see Notre Dame here. If they were going to stay independent, which I'm a big Notre Dame fan. My son went to school there. But if they don't want this to happen again, they better get themselves in a conference, because it's going to happen again to them if they're two losses without an affiliation. So, and the AD, who's taken a lot of criticism, is an incredible guy. I know him. I've met him on 6 or 7 different occasions. He's a great guy. But unless they get themselves in a league, they're going to be faced with this problem again. So the Big East is, we would love to have Notre Dame basketball back in the Big East, as well as Syracuse and Louisville and the rest of them. We'd love to have them as well.
good stuff.
Rick, I mentioned Ian will start Saturday.
Yep.
Is that instead of Tucson, or is
No, Ian's going to start with Joe Son and Uzziah.
so you're moving Dylan back to bench?
Yes, Dylan's going, for this game, Dylan will not start.
Is there any kind of,
I just feel that Ian has improved, like Joe Son, a great deal. He plays hard every single day. He's improving, and everybody has started, from Dylan Mitchell to Dylan Darling, everybody but Ian Jackson. And I think he deserves to have a chance to start as well, because starting to me is not meaningful, but starting to them is very meaningful, and he deserves that opportunity.
Conceptually, is Sellers or Jackson your one?
Jackson's going to be the one in this game.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
It means a lot, I guess. I feel like I put in a lot of work, from practice to games, just trying to be better every day and grind out every day. So this is just like a tip to that, I guess.
In the first half of the last game, you were really assertive. You made a lot of good moves. A couple fouled, not all of them.
Mhm.
But are you feeling something different in, when you're out on the court in a game now, that you're being more assertive?
Yeah, I definitely feel it. I feel like I'm getting more comfortable as the days go on, and I start to practice, preparing there, and then the games, I just feel better. So against Ole Miss, I felt way more comfortable than I did in prior games. The shots didn't fall, but it's a part of the game. But I definitely felt great.
Ian, since you guys got back from Vegas, only been like 2 games in 17 days or whatever it's been, how
Yeah.
beneficial has that practice time been over these last 2+ weeks?
For us, it's been great. I think the practice time and the in between games gave us a chance to sit back and look at ourselves and evaluate and see what we got to change and fix in order to be better. So I think the extra long practices or the longer days in between games has been great. I think we got a lot from it as individuals, as a team, and we got a lot better.
How would you describe the difference between the Ian Jackson that was playing at UNC and the Ian Jackson player that we have today? What's the big differences?
I would just say experience. I had a lot of chance to experience different things at UNC. I had the chance to experience things in my short time here so far, but I would say the experience, seeing different things, understanding the game a little bit more, just seeing things from a different lens than I would have as a freshman. So I would just say experience and just understanding a little bit more about the game.
Ian, Coach was just in here, said it's very difficult for a New Yorker to play in New York.
Mhm.
You said that's true with the Yankees and Mets and Giants, I guess because of the distractions and stuff. How do you feel about that? And are there, off-the-court distractions, like people want front run tickets and stuff like that? How do you kind of deal with all that?
A lot of that stuff in terms of tickets, I kind of don't deal with. I kind of leave that to my family to kind of do it and let them play the lead on that role. So for me, it's not really too difficult at all to play in New York. I think I have a level of understanding and discipline to myself to where outside things don't really affect me too much. Being home, I think the biggest thing for me about being home is the chance to build something that's bigger than Ian Jackson, in the city of New York. Just before it was a lot of, in high school, just Ian Jackson is building himself or becoming bigger as an individual. I think to be able to build St. John's, or be a piece to build the St. John's brand, and then being home and doing it in my area is great for me. Absolutely. They come to games. A whole bunch of them come to games. On average, a home game, probably like at least 20 people, 20 to 25 people. That's another thing, man. Just support from the family, and just being home. It's great for me. Nah. Why doesn't it? I don't really feel no pressure because I prepare myself to do great things. So pressure for me is not really nothing that's I really think about because I'm prepared to do the right thing.
When you see former guards, like coached by Rick, like Donovan and James Jenkins not doing well, the Rick coach, does that kind of inspire you on a really sort of role models?
I would say coming here is because I trusted Coach P. I trusted his work, trusted that he can help me do things and help me reach my end goal. So I seen players he had before, and that was just a part of my mindset coming into it, the trust. So I know what Coach P can do. I know what I can do, and it's just a trust between me and him.
Bryce, when you guys all got to campus during the summer, you know, he arrived and he had a certain set of skills, and you know that was the player he arrived as. What skills have you seen Ian develop during time from then to now that you think has made him a better player?
Yeah, well, I feel like when we first got on campus, Ian was always a great player. His one-on-one bag has a lot of stuff in his bag, but what I've seen him grow the most on was definitely like his playmaking ability. I feel like the game slowed down for him a little bit more as the season went on and as we went through more practices and stuff like that. And I feel like he's just making his reads better as a point guard. So I feel like that's the biggest growth I've seen from him from the summer.
One of the things that we heard from Coach Pitino after the Ole Miss game was he kind of thought that like guys were playing a little bit nervous. Like, do you think that there was a sort of feeling inside, you know, the team that like, you know, with the missed opportunities against the ranked opponents, that people were afraid of making mistakes or tentative in some way?
I'm not sure. I never really felt that from the guys. Maybe we were just passing up some open looks. I feel like we did pass up a couple open shots in the game, but I never really felt that from the guys that we were nervous or tentative.
Bryce, throughout the course of the season so far, there's been like different stages. Like Coach Pitino, at the beginning of the year, it was like a lot of the conversation was about Alabama, even though you had a couple of games before you got to Alabama. And then after Alabama, he was kind of talking Iowa State and Baylor. I'm curious, has any talk begun yet about Kentucky?
Not really. We've been trying to take it one day at a time. He's been focusing on how Iona plays basketball, and it's kind of similar to how Alabama plays. They're a very fast tempo team. They shoot a lot of threes, so he has been going back and forth and just relaying that message that it's kind of like similar to the Alabama game and how they play.
Bryce, you know, one of the things that like the Pitino St. John's teams have had going for them is that they progress. You know, they're one team, you know, in November, and then by the time that it's February or March, they're playing their best basketball. In any way, do you sort of wish that like one of these non-conference opportunities had come later in the calendar so that you guys would be whatever you guys are going to be?
I never really looked at it like that. I feel like it's good. It's a good test for us to have those games early on in the season to, you know, measure where we are early in the season. And I feel like we still have opportunities, like you said, against Kentucky to, you know, get a non-conference win, possibly a quad one win. So I never really looked at it like in that lens, but I feel like we still have opportunities to, you know, handle business in the non-conference.
You know, you were all surprised about, you know, you were coming off the bench, kind of not necessarily playing on the ball, now you're starting at the one. Is that at all a surprise to hear?
No, not really. You know, I play on the ball in practice. I'm getting
You've been doing that like all since the summer.
not since summer, but as of recently, it's been happening more. You know, so I'm comfortable with the ball in my hand. I've always been comfortable with the ball in my hand, so not really.
We could say your turnover in practice and lay down.
Mhm.
How do you kind of, how can you take us through the process of like stuff you've been working on?
I would say the main thing for me in terms of turnover being down, I think I'm just playing. Like I'm not going out there trying to make reads. It's just like everything is happening more naturally, and like as practice go on, as the game go on, I'm just playing my game, and then what happens from there happens. So I think before I was more thinking like, yo, I gotta make this pass, I gotta play it, but now I'm just flowing.
Bryce, Coach was just saying that when he went back and watched the film of Ole Miss, he thinks that was one of the best games that you guys have played so far this season. Just it didn't necessarily look like it in the final score because shots didn't fall.
Right.
Have you seen this team progress that far to play one of your better games against Ole Miss?
100%, and I think it goes back to like when you asked Ian about how well the time off, or time in between the games helped us. I feel like they put a big emphasis in the weeks prior to the game that they obviously prepared us for their playing style, but also on the defensive end, whether that was in individuals, workouts in the morning, but also in practice. I feel like just the overall time that we had to prepare for Ole Miss, it really helped us, and I feel like it's only going to get better as the season goes on.
Bryce, how do you feel about where the team is right now?
I feel really good. I feel like we're heading in the right direction. I feel like everybody's playing for each other, and like I said, as the season goes on, we're just going to keep on getting more and more comfortable with each other, and I feel like we're going to be a force to be reckoned with as the season goes on.